Bula Vinaka, and a warm welcome to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. I'm Louise Kaunisella. My guest is chiropractic physician and nutritionist as well, Dr. CRAGUN, who specializes in the treatment of neck and arm pain as well as headache and sports medicine rehabilitation. Dr. CRAGUN practices in Suva. A warm welcome to Speak Your Mind, Dr. CRAGUN.
Good afternoon.
Well, it's really good to have you on the show, but by phone this time because of the coronavirus. As I'm sure you're aware, we've stopped visitors to the Fijian Broadcasting Corporation.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do today.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I'm looking forward to an interesting talk back with you. Now, Dr. CRAGUN, humans are unique members of the animal kingdom. Among other things, we're one of the few species that require vitamin C. Now, that requirement was first demonstrated in 1747, but the vitamin itself was not discovered until 1932. Since then, scientists have learned an enormous amount about vitamin C, but they have not answered all the questions about it. Dr. CRAGUN, what should we know about vitamin C?
Well, we're going to get to that a little bit later in the show.
All right.
We're going to talk in detail about that, but it sounds like you did your history. That's good, and you've been listening. I've been talking about these things, and you're kind of like on track there.
Okay.
So what we're going to talk about today is the history of medicine and science, and the majority of it will be on vitamin C and iodine and how that really fits into the life of everybody on the planet. But first, I wanted people to get their pen and pencil and get ready to write some things down, because I want to give some places where you can go to get good information. You might have a lot of questions, and these are what I have found to be the best sources for truthful information. And the first one is Dr. Rath Health Foundation. That's Dr. R-A-T-H.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm writing that down too.
Health Foundation. And that will have a huge amount of information, different organizations you can join. But he has the highest number of published peer-review articles on the treatment of health issues with natural medicine. And it is an absolute must for every doctor, medical student, nursing student. It's just so important. But everybody else can get a lot out of it too. It's just full of stuff. So go there. The next one is you want to know a little bit about vaccination issues and things like that. The place is The Highwire, the TheHighwire, The Highwire.
All right.
That's by Del, D-E-L, Bigtree, B-I-G-T-R-E-E.
All right.
Absolutely spot on everything, and you just can't. It's really beautifully done. And the next one is Vaxter, V-A-X-X-T-E-R. That's for Dr. Tinpenny. That's T-I-N-P-E-N-N-Y.
All right.
And on news, truthful news in general, you want to go to Infowars.com, INFOWARS.com. If you haven't seen or heard of it, it's worthy of looking into. Some people don't like it. Well, some people don't like anything I say. Some people don't like anything any of these people say. But that's here or there. No matter what you say, there's always going to be 10% of the people that don't even believe that the world exists. It's hard to say.
Yeah, but that's the thing, Dr. CRAGUN. I mean, you just have to make up your own mind, if you hear two sides of a story.
That's exactly why I'm giving these shows. It's for people not to tell them what to do and how to think, but just give them information they can chew over and make their own sense out of, okay? Make your own decisions based on being well-informed, not misinformed.
Okay.
Okay? So what I wanted to start off with is fluoridation. Now, we've all heard about fluoride and fluoridation. Some people, they don't care about it. Well, you should care about it, okay? And you want to know a little bit of the history of it. And how does that tie in with iodine? I'll tell you right now. There are, and these are, for people that are science people, this is great, but people that aren't science people, it's okay too. You don't have to know chemistry. I'm just telling you things that you might be interested in. And it's the halides. The halides is a group of chemicals on the periodic chart in chemistry that have similar functions and structure. They look the same. And they're called, one is fluoride, fluorine, one is chlorine, one is iodine, and one is bromine.
Okay.
Now, in the human body, if it needs something, it's going to have a receptor site on it that says, oh, like it's a lock and key. And if the body needs it, there's a key that fits into that receptor to open it up so that that compound can go in, because the body needs it, has to have it. It's like insulin. There's a receptor site on every cell in the body for insulin, because it's the only way that sugar is going to get in the cell is if insulin slips the key in, opens the door, and sugar goes in.
Right.
And it's like that with the halides, fluorine, bromine, and iodine, and chlorine. The problem is there's only one of those halides that the human body uses. And it has a receptor on every cell of the body. So when iodine, this is iodine, is present, it goes there, opens the door, and essential iodine enters the cell. Has to have it. The body has to have it for, I can't tell you how many reasons, but we talked about that a little bit last time.
Right.
And the thing is, the other ones look like it. And it's like a key. It fits in the hole, but it doesn't open the door. But it stays there and blocks the door from being opened by iodine. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Iodine and fluoride and bromine. Very, very important. Now, you don't think it's important, but because you might not have heard of it before. But let me tell you the story now, okay?
Okay.
In World War II, after the war was over, the Allied soldiers were coming into the concentration camps, and they come up to the water tanks, and they find these big barrels of fluoride, right?
Okay.
And they asked, what is this fluoride for? And they said, oh, they put it in the water to dumb the inmates out. Because when they do that, they can't think and they can't do things. They just kind of dumb them out.
Okay, I see.
Oh, that's interesting. And so that was not mentioned anymore. And then right towards the end of the war, the aluminum industry was being sued hellaciously by people who were coming up with birth defects. Their crops were dying, teeth were falling out. They had all kinds of serious health problems. They knew it was from the fluoride that they were dumping into the water, because fluoride is important for aluminum processing. And this guy, I think his name was Mellon, was in charge of the aluminum industry. Very, very powerful guy. He says, oh, man, we're going to do something about this, because we're going to lose these lawsuits. Obviously, we're causing this problem. So he went to this guy that was a genius in marketing.
Right.
And they said, listen, help us. We're going to have to pay all that money unless we do something about it. Can you help us? And so I said, sure, no problem. Now, this guy eventually got $1 million a year for this. That was back in 1945, okay?
Right.
So it was worth a lot of money. So this guy, what he did was he figured out a way to fool the public. And the reason I know this is because my dental friend, one of my mentors in high school, knew some of the people that did this research.
Right.
Okay, on fluoridating water. And so what they did, they started giving all these kids fluoride, and said it's going to cure tooth decay. Well, everybody's concerned about that. So
we have it in our toothpaste too, doctor.
What's that?
We have it in our toothpaste too.
Yeah, well, that's part of the story.
Yeah.
You're gonna be shocked. It's kind of disgusting, actually. But so here's this guy. He devised a plan to fool the public, basically. And what he did was he got this phony trial going, and 2 years into it, before any of truthful information had come out, he started leaking it to the press that it was curing tooth decay in children, preventing tooth decay.
And this is the same fluoride that were making teeth fall out and all the soldiers get sick.
Yeah. So here's what they did. They they convinced, they probably paid the dental association a lot of money to promote it, but the dentists were fooled just like everybody else, I suppose, because this is a truthful study that was going on, and everybody believed it, so they wanted to help, and so they went for it, and and like I said, my doctor friend, he said they didn't even finish it, and what they did next was they went back and to the public and they said, okay, we're going to fluoridate the water. And so they convinced places to fluoridate their water to do this prevention of tooth decay, and a lot of people went for it. Now, this is they're trying to make fluoride a nutrition almost.
Okay, right. Dr. CRAGUN, we'll come back to that soon, but we need to go into a short break. Do stay with us for more on Speak Your Mind. This is Gold FM, only the classic hits. Warm welcome back to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. Thank you for your good company. I do hope you're enjoying this program. My guest in the studio is chiropractic physician and nutritionist Dr. CRAGUN, who is sharing with us a story about fluoride. Doctor, yes, you can continue.
Yeah, so the reason I'm saying this is because everybody's confused about it, including most of the dentists. They believe there's still what they haven't been informed as much as they should have. Anyway, so they started putting fluoride in the water, and guess what? They have to purchase this fluoride from the aluminum factories. They're purchasing the toxic waste from the aluminum factories, and the aluminum factories were having to pay for this toxic waste disposal before. They still have to pay for it, but now that it's being purchased for human health, guess what happened to all the lawsuits? They went away. How can you sue somebody for something that you're requiring to be put in the water? So that's the sad part, and it's been proven many times over. You know, the last one was something like 40,000 kids that it showed that fluoride had no effect on improving their dental health. And every country in the world, except I think the United States and Australia, has figured it out. And like in Sweden, in Switzerland, after 40 years of putting it in the water, they finally came to the conclusion, hey, man, this stuff doesn't work at all. Matter of fact, it might be detrimental. So all the European countries left it out. So if anybody tries to say it's good for you in this country, if they listen to the show, they become well informed now. Okay?
Oh, okay.
I'm not telling anybody to believe or disbelieve. This is just scientific stuff I'm sharing with you. Okay?
So you actually call it toxic waste, doctor?
Yeah, it was toxic waste. It was destroying all the orchards, and cattle were aborting, and people had their teeth falling out. Oh, it was just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. You know. So now it's, guess what? Remember, fluoride, what it does is it goes to certain cells, especially the pineal gland in the brain and other organs, but it calcifies the pineal gland, and it displaces the iodine that's supposed to be there. So you have brain fog. You can't think clearly. You're literally, like the Germans tried to do, they dumb them out.
I see.
Everybody that drinks that stuff, and they even convinced people that you should have first water that had fluoride in it for the babies. Well, give me a break.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Because iodine is absolutely essential for brain development.
And the fluoride prevents it from doing its job properly, doctor?
Yeah, exactly. So it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, you studied anatomy, so you know everything about the body, how the cells and everything work, which we don't really know that well.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pass some information that might be helpful for people that don't know anything, and also the doctors that they don't have time to learn everything. It's just too much, you know.
Okay, so I mean, I've had the excuse where they've said they put only a very little amount that wouldn't affect our health. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, just a little poison's okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah.
It's just a little poison. That's all right. It's just a little poison. How come they have a warning if your child is found with a toothpaste and it's empty and he ate it? You better get him to the hospital because
Right.
it's got fluoride in it. Okay.
Okay, so what do you suggest, doctor? I mean, just for me to stop buying fluoride toothpaste, what other toothpaste do they
Absolutely.
have?
Why would you want just to have a little poison? It's okay.
No
Not
poison is
okay.
good, doctor.
That's not okay at all.
Because, I mean, it can even build up. I mean, if you have it every day. I mean, I drink water from the tap.
There you go. I don't think we fluoridate our water here.
Well, I hope not.
No, I don't think so. I don't think the government wants to waste the money on something that doesn't work. I know they have dentists that don't agree with me, but I don't care if you don't agree with me. If you don't agree with me, it's probably because you don't know. I'm not calling you anything. I'm just telling you the facts. I'm into giving you information. So
Okay, so what toothpaste do you use, Dr. CRAGUN?
anything that doesn't have fluoride in it.
So there are toothpastes that you can buy that doesn't have fluoride in it.
Good luck. You'll have to look hard in the small print too.
Okay, what about using salt then?
Yeah, use baking soda, whatever. You can
baking
look it up
soda.
on the internet. You can figure out how to make something to clean your teeth. It's
Something natural.
yeah. So what will we talk about now? How about vitamin C? And
Okay, so we'll move on to vitamin C now. I had asked you what should we know about it, yes?
yeah, I'd like to talk about the history of medicine, but vitamin C is definitely part of the history of medicine. You already explained it, and when I think it was Cartier, some French sailors sailed up some river, St. Lawrence River, I think it was in New England states. He got stuck there, frozen in the ice, and his whole crew developed scurvy. Now, scurvy is going to kill them all, for sure.
Yeah, we learned that in school, scurvy. I mean, I remember when I was in primary school, they taught us about that.
Yeah.
A lack of vitamin C, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't know what that was. It was just some dreaded disease. They had no idea that it was vitamin C.
Okay, so these sailors, what actually happened to them because they didn't have access to vitamin C?
Here's what happened. The American Indians came and found them all dying on the ship, frozen in the ice, and they gave them pine needles and bark from these different trees that had high concentrations of vitamin C. He cured them all, and they went back to France, and they told them, and they said, oh, those silly savages, you can't believe anything they say. So back in 1500, they already knew. So that was by a bunch of arrogant people put it down, and it was like over the next 200 years, 2 million sailors died because of that.
Ooh, man, imagine 2 million. That is a lot.
Serious numbers.
Ooh.
And the British found out, this Dr. Lund said, you got to have fresh vegetables and lemons and stuff, and because it cured it. And they didn't believe it. It took him 40 more years for that to be accepted by the British Navy. Now they started taking limes. That's why they call them limeys,
Oh, I see. So they do call sailors limeys then.
Yeah.
I didn't know that because why? They have to have what?
Yeah.
Lot of vitamin C in the form of limes or something?
Well, citrus fruit has a lot of vitamin C, enough to prevent scurvy.
Okay.
And then you go on to, this is important for the COVID and everything else I want to talk about next is vitamin C was discovered in the 30s by Albert St. George. He won the Nobel Prize for it, and he was a medical student. This goes back into also what I'm going to talk is included is that an iodine, and he says, when I was a student, we had little things to help us remember things with, and one of them was about diseases. He said, if you didn't know what, where, or why, prescribe ye K and I. And K and I is Lugol solution, and Lugol solution is iodine.
Okay. Okay, we'll have to come back to that, Dr. CRAGUN. Sorry, I'm just going to a short break on Speak Your Mind. Gold FM, only the classic hits. Stay with us. We'll be back soon. This is Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. I'm Louise Kaunisella. Good to have your company, and even better to have Dr. CRAGUN to talk to us today about critical issues. And Dr. CRAGUN, you were speaking about vitamin C and something you called Lugos, right? That was iodine, right?
Yeah, iodine. And why iodine? Iodine is what is used to prevent and cure goiters. Goiters is the swollen thyroid gland right here. You've seen it on people.
Yes.
And that was discovered. Iodine was discovered in the 1800s, and it was and people that discovered it found out that something in the water. Nobody had goiters in this area, so they found out that iodine was there, and so iodine was used. And in the early 1900s, they started finding goiter belts in the United States where people had no iodine in the soil, and they didn't know it was iodine, so they used this iodine, and they found that they cured all the goiters. And goiters were present in mostly women, 4 to 1. And the goiter went away when they figured out the minimum amount of iodine to give to people to prevent goiters was 150 micrograms. Very, very small amount.
So that's every day?
Every day.
150 milligrams, right?
Micrograms.
Oh, micrograms is different from milligrams.
Tiny.
Okay.
Because they at the time had no idea what other organs of the body used this stuff.
Right.
They had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
No idea at all. They just knew that it cured goiters. That's all they cared about. So, and they also started finding out that it was curing all kinds of problems. They would give it not in microgram doses, but million times that in gram doses to people that had whatever it was. Remember, if you don't know what, where, or why, prescribe EK and I. So the doctors used this as their main antibiotic, antiviral, whatever they used it for. They used it heavily and a lot, and with no side effects, 0 side effects. Okay.
Yes.
So here comes the end of the Rockefeller Drug Trust, established at the end of the 30s, close to World War II, and they decided they were going to shove iodine aside and replace it by all the drugs that took care of all these symptoms of these diseases. So iodine was kind of pushed aside, and it wasn't forgotten about by the doctors because they used it as their main substance, but they were using other things now. So the medical pharmaceutical people knew that this would come up again, so they did this study. And in 1949, and they wanted to end the iodine thing. So they did a study, and they showed that people that took iodine, some of them developed hypothyroidism, which was a serious disease, but they didn't tell the whole story. So they did this study again, and I think it was in the 60s, and they found that 10% of the people that took iodine came down with hypothyroidism. But what they didn't say was that the hypothyroidism was just a thyroid hormone was not produced at adequate levels for 24 hours. And in 24 more hours, the body had self-regulated to the amount of iodine was there, and it started, and it was normal. But they didn't tell anything like that to the medical people. They just said that it caused hypothyroidism, even though they didn't tell them it had no clinical signs, nothing, and it's self-regulated. So now they teach in medical school, never prescribe iodine because you don't want to cause hypothyroidism.
Oh,
okay?
So that's still relevant today, that teaching?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Oh, but
100%.
like you said, if you just have that 150 micrograms, that's fine, eh?
Yeah, that's okay because that's been established a long time ago. But remember, it was established when they didn't know that every single gland of the body requires iodine to function properly.
Every single gland. And I remember in our last talk back, you also mentioned how it could help prevent breast cancer, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's
because that's a gland as well. How many glands exactly do we have in our body?
Oh, thymus gland, thyroid gland, pituitary gland, prostate gland, uterine gland.
Oh, so
ovaries,
even for prostate too.
Breast, fibrocystic breast glands,
Oh, very important.
Glands in general.
Okay.
And so they didn't know that then, but we know it now. So here we go. Now that we've established that iodine's bad for you, it's not good for you, right?
Okay.
They took it out of our flour.
Okay, so they took it out of our flour. We used to have it in flour before.
It used to be a conditioning compound for our flour, and we used to, and harmless, and there was enough iodine in one slice of bread to supply 150 micrograms. So
right.
as you can see, so we had enough in our system from the flour we were eating to fulfill the needs of all the glands of the body. Well, when they took it out, they replaced it. Catch this one. They replaced iodine with bromine. Remember the halides? There were 4 halides: bromine, fluoride, iodine.
Oh dear! A poison substance.
It's a poison toxic substance, and it has no business in our body. Just like fluoride is a poison toxic substance, has no business in our body at all. And so they put bromine, replaced iodine with bromine, and now everybody's eating bromine.
Oh my goodness, what's going on?
Fill the spaces where iodine is supposed to be, and you think it's going to make you smarter? You think your organs are going to function better? Remember, it's a key that fits in the hole, but it won't unlock the door.
I see, like iodine does.
That's right. That's right. And now they started putting bromine. Bromoseltzer was bromine. They used it for a hangover, but for 20 years until they found out that it was causing incredible psychosis, hallucinations in people, and people were being admitted to the hospital because it affected the brain. So now they're sticking it in our flour, and in 1980 they started sticking it in soft drinks to make the citrus flavor better, and they put it in with the vegetable oils that go in there, and so all these kids that are drinking all these sodas, before 1980, you didn't have kids shooting each other and blowing up each other and killing their parents.
Yeah, so I mean, you can relate it because it does something to your brain.
Absolutely, absolutely. But nobody's talking about it because all these people, and they put it in inhalants, they put it in medicines, just like they put fluoride in medicines. They put it in all this stuff, and you don't know about it. But is it positively affecting your health? Absolutely not.
All right, Doctor, we'll be back for more soon on Speak Your Mind. Thank you for your good company, and we'll be back soon. This is Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. I do hope you're enjoying the program as we talk to Dr. CRAGUN, who is a chiropractor as well as a nutritionist. Now, Doctor, what is your advice on iodine?
Well, iodine, I always recommend my patients. Nobody out there is going, if you're listening to me and you're my patient, fine, but I'm not trying to prescribe but my recommendations from and my wife are 3 to 5 drops a day of Lugol solution. And 3 to 5 drops is equivalent to what the Japanese take in their diet from seaweed, and that's 12.5 milligrams a day.
So seaweed, you can get iodine from seaweed as well, Doctor?
Yes.
Oh, okay, right.
And so seaweed, the Japanese eat the most, and they have the least amount of breast disease and cancer and all that stuff. And so
makes sense.
It makes sense. It makes sense. And so I just recommend that. More than that's fine, because your body. One doctor found out, Dr. Brunstein. Here's what the foremost expert on iodine said. I gave this on the last one. He said, this is the world expert. He's a gynecologist, OB-GYN guy. He's a professor of endocrinology. This guy was recognized as the most well-informed on iodine in the world. And he said, the safest, easiest, cheapest, simplest way to change the health crisis in the United States is adding iodine back to the body. He says, removing iodine from our bread products has caused more pain and suffering than World War I and World II put together. Okay?
Yes.
Now, when they took iodine out of the bread, what effect did it have? Well, think about all the organs that and glands that need it. Slowly, they're going to run out of it, aren't they?
Right.
They're not getting adequate supplies. And it wasn't a fast happening, but within 10 years, all gland cancers were up 300 to 500%. That's astonishing.
It is.
So we have an epidemic of these cancers, and nobody's talking about why. What happened? Well, this is one of the things that happened. And I think people want to know. I think they need to know this kind of stuff. And it's too difficult for people to find this stuff out. That's the only reason I'm giving this, to get some satisfaction out of knowing that people can take better care of themselves, you know?
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Dr. CRAGUN, for that information. It's really important, and you're just letting us know, and we can make up our mind. We can even, do a bit of research as well. But what you've been saying makes a lot of sense, Doctor.
So now we're going to get back to vitamin C. We got into the fluoride and vitamin C thing now. Albert St. George discovered vitamin C and got the Nobel Prize for it. But what are you going to do with it? Okay, it cures scurvy. It's what's responsible. But there was this brilliant medical doctor. He was just like Einstein of the world in medicine, I think. He started using vitamin C for all kinds of things. It was like, and anybody that knows the history of medicine just goes, where did this guy come from?
Yeah.
It's just like outer space. And he started using vitamin C in a lot of different ways. He started injecting it into people.
Oh, I see. I mean, that's a first for me. You can actually, is that intravenous?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is going to tie right into the last statement I'll close with, too, by the way. This is very powerful stuff.
All right.
I'm giving you a history of the fact that we know these things. Who's keeping them from us? Who doesn't want us to know this stuff? We have to, if we don't find out and talk about it amongst ourselves, nobody's going to tell us, you know? And if the politicians know about this stuff, they talk amongst themselves, and they can start to take better care of us, because that's their job. So here we got Dr. Frederick Klinner.
Right.
And he had a hospital.
Yeah.
Nice hospital. And he was a genius. And he started to find out that there was no toxic amount. There was no, because vitamin C is natural. Animals produce it. We don't, but we used to in our ancestral past. And vitamin C, so that's probably why we don't have any toxic effect. But on the planet, this is the ultimate antitoxin and antimicrobial. Vitamin C.
Too good.
And what he found out was when he IV'd large quantities, like 50 grams per liter in an IV drip, that he would bring people out of coma. He would cure every acute viral condition that came into his hospital. This is acute viral condition. Didn't matter whether it was hepatitis. Didn't matter whether it was rheumatic fever. Didn't matter.
So what did he do with the vitamin C again?
He IV dripped it.
Oh, IV dripped it. Yes, that's,
intravenous injection.
Yeah.
Over a period of time. High quantities, 50 grams is quite a bit.
So this was back in what year?
1949.
Oh, that's quite a long time ago, 1949. And it was actually working when he was doing this with the vitamin C.
So he kept records. He kept track. There's people like me that know these things. I'm not alone in this. I'm not making this stuff up.
Yeah.
But this is suppressed and killed information that you're never supposed to find out about. Never.
Okay.
Okay. So here's a polio epidemic. Okay, and in his area, and he got 60 polio children in his hospital.
Right.
And half of them were spinal tap diagnosed polio. Nobody could say, oh, you didn't diagnose it properly. They had polio. Okay, and he IV dripped them and did some intramuscular injections on them. Some of the kids were too small for IV drip, and he cured 57 out of 60 in 3 days.
Oh, that's amazing. So, but no one had to know about that.
Well, they did. Watch this one.
Okay.
And it took him 2 more days to cure the other 3. So he cured 60 out of 60.
This is
It's all
polio.
good.
This is the one
Yeah,
that we get
polio.
the vaccine for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now you're thinking. Now you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and he also has records of curing 147 shingles cases out of 140 single cases. He cured every single shingle case there was. That's a
What's shingles
painful,
again, doctor?
that's a painful viral condition of the nerve root ganglia that causes pain to run up your face and your eye or around your rib cage. It comes from old chickenpox virus infections when you're a child, and sometimes stress will activate the some of the inactive viruses and cause inflammation, which is called shingles. And it
Interesting
goes
indeed.
away
Hey,
with age.
doctor, I'm so sorry to interrupt you again. The time is so fast. We have one
Yeah,
more segment to go, and we
I
just
better
heading.
hurry up.
No problem. We got one more to go, and we'll just head into a short break before we come back on Speak Your Mind, Gold FM, only the classic hits. We're your only classic hit station in the country. Be sure to tune in. And we're back on Speak Your Mind, Gold FM, only the classic hits. I hope you're enjoying the program as we interview Dr. CRAGUN, a chiropractic physician as well as a nutritionist. Now, doctor, you're bringing up a very good thing about vitamin C, but can I please link it to the coronavirus, COVID-19? Would it be helpful maybe in preventing us or helping our immune system, doctor?
Yeah, so we already know that it
Because you spoke about
cure
how it was
cure a lot of
really,
viral diseases, and
yeah.
Dr. Levy, the world expert on that, he said that there's basically no virus that can deal with vitamin C, and you get things like animals. They don't get viral conditions very much unless they get run down. But uh, look at a goat. Just take the goat for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Goats are their own vitamin C factory. All animals produce a lot of vitamin C when they need it,
Mm.
but when they really need it, they produce more. A goat normally produces, this is what I recommend to my patients, is 12 grams of vitamin C a day in their liver, okay? So we got goats producing 12 grams of vitamin C a day. When they get sick, they start producing 100 grams a day to
Okay.
detoxify and kill the microorganisms that are making them sick. This is why animals don't get sick like humans. They make their own vitamin C all the time.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
kind of
True.
cool. I love
And then
goats.
we need to, have something to eat with vitamin C. Then it helps us. We don't
Yeah, well,
produce it.
this I feel every hospital and doctor's office, when you get sick, you should be put on a vitamin C drip, but it's illegal in hospitals because the pharmaceutical companies don't want you to do that. Okay, and I'll give you a story right now
Okay.
about vitamin. I hope I don't run out of time.
Yep. You still have time?
The vitamin C in Australia, 2010, I think it was, a guy named Alan something. He was in the hospital comatose, induced coma,
Mm-hmm.
because he had H1N1 infection. His lungs were full of viruses. He had leukemia, hairy cell leukemia,
Mm-hmm.
and he was on this IV in intubation. He was breathing through a tube,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to pull the plug, and and the family said, "Oh no, man, we're not going to do that." So they somehow got a hold of Dr. Levy, the cardiologist in the United States. It's the best in vitamin C. Of course, Dr. Rath, who discovered vitamin C deficiency was the cause of all forms of heart disease. That's another story. But
Yeah, man.
yeah, he you don't know about that either, but that's a fact. These are scientific truths, clinically proven.
Mm.
So they asked, should we give him vitamin C? And they said, by all means. So they had to get a lawyer to force them to give him vitamin C. The lawyer said, if you don't give it to him and he dies, we're going to sue your hospital. So they said, okay, we'll relent. They relented, and they started giving him IV 50 grams twice a day, IV drip. And in one day, he woke up and the next day his lungs were clearing. They took him off the breathing apparatus,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like astonishing and remarkable. And they took him off vitamin C. Didn't tell anybody, and he started going back. And then they caught this doctor. He says, "What do you mean you took him off?" He says, "Well, you know, well, he took him off because he didn't want to have vitamin C get credit for curing something that they wanted to pull the plug on this guy." Okay,
Yeah.
this guy should be in jail for what he did, but they got him back on the vitamin C, and he hit a high dose, and they eventually released him 2 weeks later. No H1N1, no pneumonia. He was and no hairy cell leukemia.
Boy.
He was better. He was done. And the local authorities. You can watch this on 60 Minutes, 2010. It's on YouTube somewhere.
Okay.
And the local medical lawyers try to put it down and say, "Oh, it was just a coincidence."
Ah, that's what they said.
Okay. So they're opposed to it. Not every medical doctor is, but now they're starting to use it because they know it works, and they're going to get out underneath the foothold of the pharmaceutical industry and let them start practicing medicine the way they were meant to, and to help the patient, not be told what to do, by the pharmaceutical people who don't want you to take vitamin C. Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay, but imagine you mentioning also that vitamin C, viruses don't like vitamin C.
There's no virus known to man that it's in proximity of vitamin C, ascorbic acid, that can survive.
Oh, okay.
There might be difficult cases. We call them embedded viruses. They're in the DNA somewhere, and the vitamin C can't get to it, and it takes a long time for that to happen. But the acute situations, the acute ones, where you've just got a fulminating virus and you're just loaded with viruses, you need some help, okay?
You're right.
So now let's get back to what you wanted to talk about, the COVID-19.
Okay.
Now,
Yes, please, doctor.
now, I'm going to read this one.
All right.
The Orthomolecular Medicine Institute in I think it's Oregon, they on March 3rd this year, they put out this statement. The government of Shanghai, China, has announced its official recommendation that COVID-19 should be treated with high amounts of intravenous vitamin C.
Oh, my goodness me. And that the doctor did it in 1949, and they're doing it now?
Yeah. You got it. You made the connection, okay?
Right,
So
right.
the dosage recommendations vary. These dosage are approximately 4 grams to 16 grams for an adult, administered by IV. Now, that's 4,000 to 16,000 milligrams, okay?
Okay.
This specific method of administration is important, says IV expert Dr. Yasuhara,
Yeah.
MD, PhD, because vitamin C's effect is at least 10 times more powerful by IV than taken orally. Dr. Yasuhara is president of the Tokyo-based Japanese College of Intravenous Therapy.
Oh, boy.
Intravenous vitamin C is safe, effective, and a broad spectrum antiviral.
Oh, my goodness me.
Richard Chen, MD, PhD, Chinese American specialist physician,
Yeah.
has been working closely with the medical and governmental authorities throughout China.
Well, right now for COVID-19?
Yes. He has been instrumental in facilitating at least 3 clinical IV vitamin C studies now underway. Dr. Chen and Dr. Harshihara both recommend oral vitamin C for prevention of COVID-19 infection.
Oh, boy. That's just great information. Thank you so much, Dr. CRAGUN. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of Speak Your Mind, but looking into the future, we'll definitely...
Well, continue with for some more. You could give me another minute or two.
Oh, I wish I could. Okay.
Well, wish bigger than that.
Yeah. All right. See, now, Dr. CRAGUN, like if we don't have it intravenous, that vitamin C, okay, if we just have to eat it naturally, for example, like if I eat wheat or oranges or what?
Enough. It's not enough.
It's not enough. Okay, but...
We're talking about a big infection, and, treatment should be initiated as soon as possible after admission to a hospital. Early application of large doses of vitamin C have a strong antioxidant effect, reduce inflammatory response, and improve endothelial function of the lungs.
Oh man,
Okay?
that is too good. That's a great information, doctor. But the problem is they're doing it in China, but it's actually illegal everywhere else in the world. Is that right, doctor?
No, it's illegal everywhere. It's just that you have to, if you have it, if you suspect it, what you do, and the doctor in the hospital doesn't want to do, you say, I want to have my vitamin C plasma level checked.
You can
And
ask for it.
If they find that the vitamin C level is low, they're required to give you IV vitamin C.
Oh, well, thank you very much. You just answered my question. But just quickly, vitamin C, you need iron in your body as well. Like, I mean, just not for COVID-19, but just for flus or something like that.
Yeah,
They go
everything.
together, is that right? Vitamin C and iron?
Vitamin C is the most essential compound in our body. It will neutralize any toxin on the planet, okay? If you get
Excellent.
poisoned, you have toxic. If you get the IV vitamin C and you fast enough, it neutralizes the toxin and you don't die. And, okay, that's just one of the things. It's one of the things. And it's known, National Institute of Health found out with their studies that in the United States that vitamin C selectively kills cancer cells. And we know the pathway. It's called a Fenton reaction. And we know how it works. But why aren't we being told this in the general public? Okay?
All right.
I want you to know the pharmaceutical industry controls the world. Look at the media. Look what they're doing to Donald Trump, man. Okay? End of story.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. CRAGUN, for joining us on Speak Your Mind
Okay.
today.
Next time.
See you next
Bye.
time. Radio. And that's it for today. Until next week, I hope you enjoyed the program. I'm Louise Carnicella. Stay safe, look after yourself, have lots of vitamin C.